Okay, hey guys, it's Matt here, and welcome to week 3 or halfway point on a Stone in 6 Online challenge. Hope you have been enjoying it so far. And today, well, this week, we're going to crank things up a little bit by going into our level 2 principles. So far, we've been sharing our level 1 principles, but we're going to be going into our level 2 principles. Now, we are going to split this workshop up into a number of parts so that it's easily digestible, to coin a phrase, and so that you can easily come back and look at certain parts which we think will be helpful for you to apply it better, so that you haven't got to scroll through an hour's workshop just to find the things that you want. So some of the key things we're going to be looking at are eating for body type. We're going to be looking at flexible dieting methods. Flexible dieting methods is basically a way of making your diet work around you and your lifestyle. Okay, and one of the ways we're going to do that is by helping you understand your macronutrient needs, and then from there being more action based and looking at meal planning and preparation. So before we get to that, I just want to cover a few things in this workshop. So we're going to cover a few of the myths around dieting. We are going to review your level 1 principles, because when it comes to, well, anything in life, but particularly nutrition, nailing the basic principles is really key to start with. And then on the second workshop, we're going to start to look at portion control based on your body type, because your body type, your particular body type, and the way it reacts with foods is completely different from every other person on the planet. Every single one of us metabolizes foods differently. So actually understanding what we call somatotyping is a really cool way of personalizing your diet so that you can get the results that you want. We're also going to look at detoxification, carb and calorie cycling, top time-saving tips, and even how to use supplements effectively. So hopefully you're going to leave this workshop with a better understanding of how better to control your nutrition to assist your goals. A close to exact figure of calories is something we're going to be looking at as well. And also, like I said, how you can manipulate your calories to suit your goals. So let's start with busting some myths on nutrition for weight loss. We're just going to cover a couple of the most common ones, because I just feel it's really important that you understand these, because when we're making, well, not making you, but when we are suggesting you follow some of our principles, the LPT principles, based on science, and many based on precision nutrition, this will be a bit of a mind shift from what you have probably tried before. If you've done Weight Watchers, Slimming World diets, those types of things, this will be a bit of a mind shift. So the first myth is cutting calories will help you lose weight. Okay, now I call this a myth because obviously, clearly, from a scientific point of view, this is correct. If you cut calories, you will lose weight. However, the problem and the reason we call this a myth is because the idea of just only reducing calories for not only losing weight but for health and well-being and performance and energy, then this is quite flawed as a concept. Okay, so I'm going to look at why that is. There are a couple of problems with this myth, if you like. So the first problem is what the nutritional scientists are now calling your set point. Okay, so your set point is basically like your thermostat that regulates your heating in your house. Okay, so when you put your heating on, particularly as I shoot this video this time of year, I've been starting to put my heating on, your house will warm up. Okay, but it doesn't keep getting hotter and hotter and hotter, right? It actually will switch off at a certain point. Okay, that's called regulation. And your body has its own regulation system. Okay, your body, and what nutritional scientists have found out is everyone's set point or thermostat is slightly different. And obviously in human terms, this is relating to your metabolism. Okay, so one of the issues with cutting calories is, as you probably noticed, you just don't keep losing more and more weight. Okay, what tends to happen, and when we cut calories too quickly in particular, our body hits a set point where it goes into survival mode. So I'm sure you've all heard of the three F's: fight, flight, and freeze. This is our primal, our body's primal instinct to survive only. Okay, your body, all it cares about is surviving, not thriving. Okay, two different things. So when we're talking about surviving, it will actually slow down the systems in your body, like your hormonal system. It will downregulate key hormones that we actually need for fat burning. It will downregulate them to slow everything down and do what your thermostat does, which is basically switch off. Okay, so it will actually switch off the fat fuel that we really want to lose body fat. And the reason for this is because our primal instinct is basically to preserve fat for safety. Okay, 10,000 years ago, we required fat to stay alive. You know, we might endure a winter of famine where we actually need that fat. Okay, and unfortunately, our bodies actually haven't changed much in the last 10,000 years. The new study is somewhere around 0.01%. So when you go into this kind of famine and you decide, I'm going to go onto a diet and I'm going to cut calories as much as I can so I can lose weight. Well, initially you will lose weight, but then you will hit this set point and your body will downregulate key hormones that you need and require to actually lose the weight in the first place. Okay, now when this happens, you might ask, well, where does the energy come from if I'm no longer burning fat for fuel? It's a really good question, and it's part of the problem as well, which is your body through, well, one process that your body goes through is a process called gluconeogenesis, where your body actually uses its own internal tissue to create new energy. So in particular, muscle tissue will be broken down, and within muscle tissue it will create new glucose to help function the brain, help function the body. Now I'm sure you're all aware now of, particularly if you've read the Healthy Living Blueprint, because I bang on about it over and over again in that resource, how important muscle is for metabolism. Okay, for every pound of muscle you have, you are going to burn anywhere between 40 to 60 calories extra a day. Okay, that doesn't sound like a lot, but over a week, over 30 days, over 12 months, that soon adds up. Okay, so one of the problems with just looking at cutting your calories alone is we're going to sacrifice muscle tissue. Okay, we're going to reach a plateau with our weight loss because our metabolism slows down, and we're going to get really frustrated and we're going to start going back to eating crap again and giving up on the whole idea, which is often what people do on some of these well-known diets. There is a second problem. A calorie isn't a calorie. Okay, so what I mean by that is 2,000 calories of junk food does not serve the same, it does not work the same way as 2,000 calories of healthy, nutritious foods. From this point of view, counting calories for weight loss is deeply flawed because, yes, within that first month of just going on a burger or McDonald's diet and just saying, well, if I am told that I need 1,500 calories to lose weight, then it doesn't matter where I get those calories from. Okay, which initially, like I said again, will be true. Okay, when we cut calories, your body will diminish. But unfortunately, like I said, if you're not getting the right macronutrients and the right healthy nutrition into your body, it will diminish in the wrong way. You actually lose muscle tissue. The other big problem with this concept of actually it doesn't matter where the calories come from is what I call the bounce back effect. Okay, so when we're taking on the picture on the left, when we're taking on foods like these, even foods from your slimming diets that are packaged foods, if you look at the back of some of those packaged foods, you'll find a whole heap of chemicals and additives and preservatives that actually cannot be really counted as food. Okay, this is man-made food designed to make money out of these big corporations. So this may sound like a bit of scaremongering. This is just basic science. We were designed to eat food like the ones on the right. Food. When we talk about food, we're talking about single ingredient produce. So an egg is one ingredient. Okay, I guarantee a burger from McDonald's is not one ingredient, and you don't even want to know what those ingredients are to make up those burgers. Okay, so why is this a problem? Well, over the course of time, when people go on these diets, when they're neglecting the quality and the nutrient density of foods, they will build up a toxic load in within the body. And the reason for this is because your body doesn't recognize this as food. Okay, so it will store these toxins mainly in the liver and mainly in the fat cells within the body. Okay, but unfortunately, if you can guess what happens, if we are cutting calories, you need to stay with me here. So let's take someone that's been eating a fairly highly processed diet, okay, and they cut calories because they really want to lose weight. They will lose weight and they will get slimmer, but they haven't dealt with the issue of being more toxic. And so what happens is they start to feel a bit crap. Their energy levels drop, okay. The reason for this is because the ratio of their body of toxins has increased. So they're more toxic than before they started their diet. They're slightly happy because they've lost weight on the scales, but they feel like crap because they've got no energy. They're not getting the nutrients into their system they need. And as you can imagine, this is why I call it the bounce back effect. Sooner or later, something's got to give. And if you can imagine your body becoming more and more toxic because of the foods you're eating, what happens next? Well, you may have guessed it already. Your body goes back into fight, flight, or freeze, and it goes back into survival mode. And it says, you know what? We have this influx of toxins entering my system. How can we cope? We can't keep getting smaller because we're just going to be getting more toxic. So this is where your body is really clever, and it actually creates a new fat cell to house the incoming toxins. So to cut a long story short, the person becomes bigger than before they started the diet. Okay, so one time your body creates new fat cells is to actually cater for the oncoming nutrition or the toxic load. Okay, so this is why we talk so much about the 90% rule, getting at least 90% of your foods from clean sources. Okay, so that's the bounce back effect. Okay, now obviously we have to be aware of other chemicals around us in our environment, but also the ones we put on our skin. So as much as 60% of substances applied to the skin are absorbed by the body. Remember, your skin is an organ. Okay, so these toxins go straight into your bloodstream. Okay, now I don't want to scaremonger you too much with this, but it's really just to make you aware, because most people aren't aware of the toxicity around us that we, number one, can't control, but number one, can control. So we can definitely control the toxicity we put into our mouth and onto our skin. Now, this isn't to suggest that you stop using perspirants and deodorants and perfumes. Personally, I've had cancer myself, and I don't want to have it again. I will never put spray, particularly on my armpits, on the glands, on the vital glands. Okay, so I will use a dry stick that works just, it doesn't particularly make me smell great, but it also doesn't make me smell bad. It just reduces sweating. So just little things like that can actually reduce the toxic load on your body. Now, the other way to reduce the toxic load on your body is to go through LPT's daily detox. Okay, so you need to look at the video on the daily detox to actually ensure that you are managing your toxic load. Because the cool thing about the human body is we are really good at deloading the toxic waste if we allow it. Okay, like I said, luckily the body is equally as good as eliminating toxins. So if you want to carry on, You can watch the daily detox video by just turning this video off now and then clicking on it.